We are live. We are live, baby. We're live. Turn that down just a little bit. Just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Just turn it down a little bit. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. My name is Cade, and this is Catching Up with Cade. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome if you are new here. This is a safe space if you want to vent or, get things off your chest. At least with me, I can't talk for anybody else that might comment or say anything, but as far as I am concerned and my response to whatever problem you may be dealing with, this is a safe space if you want to get anything off your chest and talk about it. Today's episode is going, I contemplated what I was going to do with this episode. I didn't really talk to anybody about recording it. I just always had an idea about talking about it. I don't know if I needed to talk to my attorney about recording this. I'm sorry if you're watching this, or any of my doctors and therapists. Katniss is playing with my pants that have a little thing on it, the drawstring. So she's going crazy right now. I need her to lay down. But yeah, today's episode is, I don't really know where I want to go with it, I guess, if that makes any sense. I personally have struggled with alcohol in the past, and I know a lot of people struggle with it as well. Today is not going to be directed towards anyone, or I'm not going to say anything because it is. It's going to be talking about alcohol. Yeah, I want to talk about kind of my struggle with it and present some facts as well about it, and maybe, share some light on the subject that other people are struggling with, It's all around us. You watch TV, you see commercials. It's literally all around us. So, I used to drink to feel alive, feel happy. Boredom buster. That was a big one for me just because I was bored. I had nothing else to do. I'm going to go get a 6-pack or a 12-pack or go get a bottle of Hen, Martell, Douce. You know what I'm saying? Like, just drink to drink. Sometimes, sitting with myself just scared me. Being alone in my thoughts scared me. Feeling the quiet scared me. Facing what was inside me scared me. So I definitely reached for something to blur it all out. Something to make the world lighter, make me lighter. As of today, I am 1 month and 2 days sober from alcohol. Smoke a little weed. I've talked to my doctors about smoking weed and smoking nicotine, and I'm working with that too. But alcohol was definitely a problem for me. And that's something that I am working on bettering myself in. This is a problem, I think dealing with something, I think denial is the first stage or whatever, however the saying is, but I know it's a problem. I know it has been a problem. For me, as soon as I have one drop or one drink, I keep going. There's no off switch. As soon as it touches my lips, it's go time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm competitive, and I didn't want to stop until I couldn't stop, or I didn't want to stop until I blacked out. Like, it wasn't my intention to just purposely black out, but I would keep going until I did. I didn't know when to stop. I really, yes, I knew when to stop. I just didn't want to. Like, I know the difference between right and wrong. I think a lot of people do know the difference between right or wrong, unless you have some sort of psychological deficiency that you honestly cannot make the difference between right and wrong. But most people do know the difference between right and wrong, and I chose to do the wrong thing. When I wrecked my motorcycle, I was drinking. I chose to make that decision. Nobody else chose to ride that motorcycle but myself. I mean, every sip felt like relief. Every buzz felt like control, but that relief was temporary. Chasing it became a rhythm, it became a habit, a part of me. I didn't even notice or realize until I looked back. I made terrible decisions because of it. You know, terrible ones. Nights that I replay in my head constantly. Nights that I wish I could erase. That I wish I could take a time machine, go back and change, but I can't. Nights where I woke up and didn't even recognize myself. Nights where people didn't recognize me. And, then there was the accident. And I still chose to drink after the accident. Like, bro, I'm playing with fire. I was playing with fire. Playing with fire, literally. Alcohol did this to me, and I'm going to still drink? Like, what, bro? I was drinking that day, and it wasn't just alcohol. It was years of bad habits, trauma, and running from myself. I woke up broken, terrified, alive. Surviving that showed me that alcohol didn't save me. It almost killed me. I mean, you can make the argument alcohol saved my life because, your body goes limp. And you can see there's been multiple DWI cases where the drunk driver survives, but somebody else doesn't because their body goes limp. And you can make the argument, well, if you weren't drunk, you wouldn't be alive. Honestly, I don't care about that. The medical staff, whatever you have to say, that's your opinion. I'm entitled to my own belief. And if it wasn't for God looking after me that night, I would not be standing or sitting here or talking or doing anything. God is the only reason the medical staff had the competency and the professionalism to keep me alive. There is no other being that kept me from becoming who I am today besides God. That's my opinion. That's what I'm going to run with. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion and believe what you want. I'm not here to change your belief system, your religious belief system, but I'm here to tell you what I believe. And thank you for tuning in if you're listening. But we can skip past this, and today's message is about alcohol, and I will be presenting facts about alcohol. So if you don't want to look in the mirror and change what you're doing or change what you're becoming, don't watch this video. If you don't want to improve, don't watch this video. If you don't want to grow, don't watch this video, because I'm not here to be nice and sugarcoat things. I'm going to give you facts, and I'm going to speak my mind on the topic. Point blank, period. Photos, you know what I'm saying? So, I have a fact here. Alcohol contributes to 1 in 20 deaths globally. World Health Organization, 2023. 1 in 6 adults binge drink at least once a month. That comes from the CDC, 2023. That's a wild statistic. That is a wild statistic. 1 in 6 adults binge drink at least once a month. I believe binge drinking means having more than, I don't know. I actually don't know what binge drinking means, and I'm not going to act like I do because I don't. But that's just a fact that I pulled. 1 in 6 adults binge drink at least once a month. The CDC 2023, and alcohol contributes to 1 in 20 deaths globally. The World Health Organization 2023. That's a fact. You can argue and say you control your drinking and oh, you just drink to have fun, you just socially drink. That's a fact. Alcohol contributes to 1 in 20 deaths globally. Fact. All right, so, alcohol feels like a friend, like it's got your back. You pour a drink, suddenly the world feels softer, or suddenly the world softens. Chest lighter, laughs easier, confidence higher, for sure. Liquid courage, if you've ever heard that. You think you're surviving. You think you're thriving, but it's temporary. I think I don't really remember my first real buzz. I used to sneak drinks from my parents' liquor cabinet when I was in middle school. Like, my mom will tell you. I mean, that's a fact. Like, I'm surprised they didn't mark the bottles. I definitely know what I did mischievous as a kid, and I'm going to be keeping tabs on my kids when they do it. One thing that I've learned is just being honest with my parents and my family. You know, I used to hide certain things, and now I'm just blunt with everybody. I tell it how it is, and, you know, people are going to admire you for it, and people are not going to like you for it. At the end of the day, who cares? Like, people are going to like you. It's just funny to see be you could solve people's problems and they still are going to find something to say about it. So it is what it is, and it's not what it's not. So we're going to roll with it. My uncle likes to say it's not what it's not when I say it is what it is. So, I used to go out and drink when I would get off working at Chili's. I wouldn't get off until like 11, 12 some nights, and then I would go rush home, shower, go to the bar, drink. And I used to not drive, so I would always have a ride, and it became a habit, a very bad habit. Work, 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 go drink. And serving, like working in the service industry, alcoholism is very prevalent. Drinking on the job I used to never do until I started working in fine dining, and it was just so available and easily accessible that it became second nature. You know what I'm saying? I would open a bottle of wine and not, obviously I wouldn't steal from the restaurant, but I would sneak in a bottle of wine in the backpack and go where there's no cameras and drink wine straight out of the bottle. I mean, straight alcoholic. Yeah. I used to chase getting drunk, chase feeling buzzed. The illusion of confidence, of freedom, sneaking drinks at parties, other events that I would attend, sneaking shooters in, staying out late, waking up hungover, feeling terrible the entire day, having to get up at the butt crack of dawn, drunk still, replaying the shame, and then doing it all over again. Terrible cycle, Society definitely encourages it. Society encourages drinking. You could see it in advertisement. Excuse me. My nose is a little stopped or running. You can see it in commercials. You could see it in it's everywhere. It is literally everywhere. Alcohol is everywhere. Everything is wrapped in alcohol. Weddings. I don't know if funerals are or not. Maybe. I've been to plenty of funerals, but alcohol really it wasn't a big thing at any of the funerals that I attended. Weddings for sure. Birthdays, promotions, defeats. You have a bad day. Come on, let's go get a drink. You know what I'm saying? Like men especially drink, hide, be silent, be strong. Alcohol becomes a tool to hide from pain. Hiding doesn't save you. I really don't think it saves you. I personally can't tell you the first time I blacked out. I have some notes here. That's why I'm constantly looking at my computer. But I can't tell you the first time I blacked out because you can't count on your hands the amount of times that I have blacked out. When I drank to go all the way. There has been some nights where I have controlled it, though. I'm not saying that I let loose every night, but a majority of the nights, my girlfriend will tell you, she used to find buzzballs in the closet underneath clothes, hidden, because I would get off work, go get some Black and Milds and buzzball and beer. I would tell her about the beer, but I would sneak the buzzballs in and drink them when I would get in the shower and still have my beer afterwards. That's an alcoholic. Hiding isn't, terrible. I condemn myself for that action, and I'm so sorry for doing that to you. I'm talking to my woman right now. I've told her multiple times that I'm sorry and trying to change and become a better man because of the family that I want to have and want to grow one day. And alcohol has been a problem for me. And luckily, I have great energy sober, so I don't need to drink to have fun. Now, when I smoke, I turn into a shell. I'm like mute. I don't talk. It's when I smoke weed. It's not good. It's not good. I'm just quiet. I overthink. I overprocess things. But that's because I used to smoke all the time, and now like smoking is not the same that it used to be. Me and my homeboys, like, we used to smoke before everything. We used to smoke before school, lunch, after school, before the football game, after the football games, before the movies, going out to eat, smoke, like just smoking to smoke. And it was cool. I could function. But now I take one hit. Nah. I don't know. I might build the tolerance back up. But I'm diving deeper into my religious and my spiritual beliefs. So I need to really process marijuana and figure it out. But I don't smoke like I used to smoke, My doctors all know about my marijuana consumption. My therapist, my psychiatrist, my physical therapist, my occupational therapist. I ain't got a front. I don't need to lie to anybody. That's why I'm comfortable sitting here talking about it, because whoop-de-doo. You know what I'm saying?
And we go to prison the rest of our life, whoop-de-doo. We go to prison.
Anyways, I don't really remember the first time I blacked out, but I do know that I have blacked out on multiple occasions and lost multiple items. I blacked out one time. Unfortunately, I had a lot of friends that were with me this night, but I blacked out and I got robbed. I had like $15,000 worth of camera equipment stolen from me. I woke up in the back of a Tesla with my Jordans missing and my backpack full of camera gear gone. Because I chose to get blackout drunk and carry around $15,000 worth of camera equipment, acting, man, that was a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Have I learned from it? Yeah. But it sucks. I've lost so many things. I've broken stuff. One night I blacked out and I locked my girlfriend out of our apartment. Like, what? Like, what am I doing? What was I doing? Like, just terrible decisions. I've made very terrible decisions because of alcohol. Now, I'm not saying everybody does, because some people can drink and act fine, but I have alter egos. I've been given other names because I'm not myself. There's Cade, there's Wade, and then when I black out, I turn into Blade. And Blade is, you don't want to meet Blade. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a lot of other names that I go by and a lot of people know me as, but if you've ever met Blade, I'm sorry. I'm Cade. I'm sorry for Blade. Anyways, I have some other facts here that I wanted to talk about. More than 14 million adults in the U.S. struggle with alcohol use disorder, according to the CDC 2023. Alcohol-related liver disease kills over 50,000 people in the U.S. every single year. That is from the CDC 2023. I think it's called like fatty liver or alcohol liver. I don't know. Okay. This turned off and I don't know where it ended, but I was on facts that I'm going to go ahead and just say them one more time just in case it didn't get this. But more than 14 million adults in the U.S. struggle with alcohol use disorder, according to the CDC 2023. Also, alcohol-related liver disease kills over 50,000 people in the U.S. every single year. CDC 2023. That's terrible. 50,000. 50,000. Ha! It's terrible. Death is just terrible altogether. You know what I'm saying? Like, golly. I feel so bad for people that struggle with it, because I struggle with it too. And it's done nothing positive for me. Yes, I mean, there have been nights, like I said, where I could have a few glasses of wine, maybe one cocktail, and been okay. But, man, I can't. I just want to keep going and going and going until I can't anymore, you know? And then waking up hungover, just feeling like crap the whole rest of the day. It's terrible. I don't know why I chose to do that to myself, you know? But it's something that everybody does. Not everybody. A lot of people do, you know? You know, that night, my accident, I thought I was untouchable for the longest time. I actually, a reason I had gotten that motorcycle, well, one of the reasons why, not because of my love for him, but one of the reasons why I have a prior conviction of DWI in my vehicle, in my car, my old car. And I would constantly use the motorcycle when I was drinking to ride around because I knew the cops weren't going to bother me. I was on Harley, I wasn't on a crotch rocket, and I knew a cop really wasn't going to bother me or pull me over because I was, you know, not necessarily staying super straight. It's a motorcycle, so it was an excuse to drink and ride. 100% being on my Harley. It was fun. I'm not going to lie and say I didn't have fun because I did. It was fun to get buzzed and ride that motorcycle. 100% it was. You know, I thought I could outrun the consequences. I was reckless, careless, drunk, and I paid the price. Luckily, I did not pay with my life, but I was very close to paying with my life. I paid a very hefty price, not only dealing with legal issues, but physically, I will never be the same, ever, for the rest of my life. I will have a burden on my shoulders because of a decision I chose to make. I pray nobody else has to go through what I went through or what I am going through. Not only physically, but mentally. It is a toll. When I was in my wheelchair and I had gotten a little bit heftier because I wasn't moving around as much, you know, I'm 6'1". I got up to 220, my ideal weight, but it was fat. It wasn't muscle. And I was struggling with my looks. I felt like I looked terrible, and I did, and I couldn't stand the sight of myself. You know, I'm very thankful that I had a good support system, a girlfriend who loves me for who I am, not just my looks, and chose to take care of me. Shout out to my woman, because that woman is a 1 in a million. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes a very strong woman for anybody that has a physical deformity to take care of another human being the way that I was taken care of. You know, clean me, bathe me, wipe me when I went to the restroom. Like, it takes a very strong human being to put their feelings aside and care for somebody else who is incapable of caring for themselves. So I want to shout out my woman, shout out the nurses, my mom, anybody that helped in my medical journey. I can never thank you enough for everything that you have done and the lives that you continue to impact. Thank you. You are very much appreciated. I love each and every one of you. Shout out my PT from Baylor, Scott and White. I haven't talked to her in a while, but she knows where she is in my heart. Anywho, I don't think the crash itself is what haunts me because I don't remember it. I recently, 2 weeks ago, met up with my attorney and went over evidence from that. And I saw the body cam footage of when police officers first arrived on scene and I wasn't moving. I witnessed me laying face down, bone sticking out of my leg. I looked dead. I really had, I think, somewhat of an out-of-body experience witnessing first responders arrive on scene to my body just laying there limp. It is something that I will never be able to get out of my head, and I hope nobody ever has to witness. It is a core memory that will forever be implanted in my head. I looked dead. Sir, can you hear me? Sir. Sir, hello. Is he breathing? You could hear me snoring. Does he have a pulse? Blood just pissing out of my leg. I mean, I was laying face down in a ditch like this. Helmet on, jacket on, bone sticking out of my leg. I looked dead. I cannot thank God enough for saving my life. So, yeah, what I was saying, the crash itself really doesn't haunt me because I don't remember it and I was in a coma. It's more of the build up, the years of reckless nights, chasing numbness, ignoring patterns. Seeing everything that I was hiding from. That was the weight on my shoulders. I don't remember the wreck like I was saying, but I can imagine it just seeing the body cam footage and the police footage from my accident, the debris field, the screeching metal, the burnt rubber, the sound. I can only imagine what it sounded like. Something else that I had the opportunity of learning upon reviewing my evidence was, if you know me, I talk to homeless people. I don't necessarily give out a lot of money to the homeless people. I do sometimes, but more often than not, if there's a homeless person asking for help on the side of the road, I'll pull over, ask them, "Hey, what kind of food do you want? Let's go get a burger, let's go get a drink." Or if I'm at a 7-Eleven, "Hey, come in, let's get some coffee. I'll buy you some snacks." I've always looked out for the homeless people because my dad was on the streets. I've been on the streets, and often society looks over those type of people, and those are really the people who need God the most and need help and to know, whether they're dealing with a fentanyl addiction, crack, meth, whatever it may be, that there is light at the end of the tunnel and there is positivity. So when I'm on the side of the road talking to fiends and homeless people, I found out on the night of my accident, nobody witnessed my wreck. I've gotten mixed things from people saying that somebody witnessed it and called it in, but upon reviewing my evidence, 2 homeless people called it in. How they got the phone, I don't know, but they had a camp about a quarter mile away from my wreck site, and they had stated that they heard a loud noise and started looking around and found me, and they are the ones who called 911. 2 homeless people. Nobody saw it. I probably would have laid there and died if they wouldn't have been there. Wild. Absolutely wild. And I think that might be a little bit of good karma repaying me because of how I take care of people that I see on the streets. If that is, I'm still going to continue to do it. I don't have to post it on social media and let everybody know I'm doing it. Those who know me know I've literally given the shirt off my back to somebody who had a dirty shirt. It didn't look like they hadn't showered in a month. I've driven home with no shoes because I gave them off my feet to people. I'm not saying that's what you have to do, but just be a kind human. Be a good human. It's simple. It's harder to be rude and mean than it is to be easy to be nice. Lying in that hospital bed, every sound was amplified. Nurses moving, machines beeping, my own shallow breathing. I thought for a while, this is it. I'm stuck like this. This is gonna be me. And that alcohol that night, I mean, it did nothing to protect me. Besides me going limp, it did nothing to protect me. Look at what it did to me. Like, literally, that's something that nobody else is going to have to deal with but me. I have to look in the mirror every single day and ask myself why. Why did I choose to do that? Why would I do this to myself? And I still chose to drink after my accident. I still chose to get blackout drunk on certain nights after my accident. For what? For what? Still making terrible decisions after my accident. Are you kidding me? What was it going to take for me to learn? Obviously, something's clicked in the past month and a half, 2 months. Something's clicked, and I'm learning. My frontal cortex or whatever it is maturing and realizing what is beneficial to me. But I want a family one day. I don't want my kid to see their dad being a drunk, a druggie. Like, I want my kids to be proud of the man I am becoming, and hopefully watch these videos one day, whether I'm still alive to show them or whether or not they're like, hey, this is your dad. This is the impact that he was trying to do for humanity, to be a better man and trying to help people improve, because mental health is no joke. R.I.P. Marshawn Nealon and the hundreds of thousands of other people who commit suicide every day because of mental issues. I feel so bad for those people. Something needs to change in this world. I have some other facts here. Alcohol is involved in 30% of all fatal car crashes. NHTSA 2023. Every single day, 29 people die in alcohol-related vehicle crashes in the United States of America. CDC 2023. 29 people die. That's 365 days, 29 people dying in alcohol-related vehicle crashes. That's terrible. Unfortunately, I know some people who have passed away because of alcohol. I'm not going to name drop some younger people in my hometown. We had a friend pass away. He was literally ejected out of the truck. He was a passenger. They were both drinking. He was ejected out of the truck and hit a concrete barrier and died on impact. The driver got involuntary manslaughter. His life forever changed. Somebody else had passed away a few months ago. He was a grade above me, or 2 grades above me. I think a grade above me. And he ended the life of a woman who was a firefighter and a mom because he was driving on the wrong side of the road, drunk. R.I.P. to both of them. Alcohol steals more than nights. It steals life, opportunities, relationships, self-respect. I saw the consequences a little bit more clearly after the wreck, but I still chose to make those decisions to drink. I've hurt people that I care about. I've burned bridges. I've missed moments that I can't get back. I will never get back. Nights that felt fun maybe in the moment were actually losses. You know what I'm saying? Missing people's birthdays because I chose to get drunk. Fights with friends that I barely remember or don't remember. Losing money, respect, chances at work because I thought numbness was survival. I got a call when I was at work one night that my dad had passed away. And I dove deeper into alcohol than I dove into anything else. I mean, and long-term effects are real. Liver disease, heart problems, anxiety, depression, memory issues, sleep disorders. Because you may not be dealing with consequences now does not mean that consequences will not come later in life, because they will. I'm 26. I'm not always going to be 26. I'm not always going to be young and agile. Even drinking now, I don't like staying out late. I want to get up early, make my coffee, you know? Like, that's just the type of timing I'm on. I'd rather be up at 7 a.m., not out until 2 a.m., waking up in the afternoon, you know? Like, excessive alcohol use costs the United States $249 billion per year, per the CDC 2023. Heavy drinkers have a 30 to 50% higher risk of developing depression. NIH 2023. I don't know why all these are 2023 facts, but they are. So, eventually you can't hide. You will not be able to hide. You look at yourself, not the drunk version, not the I'm fine version, the real one, the one you've been avoiding. The truth hits hard. Right in your face. Like, I'm sure, I know it's a saying that a lot of movies have used. I think of Shark Tale when I think of this, but you can't handle the truth. Some people can't handle the truth, and it's sad. That's something that I'm trying to help. Not only myself, but anybody else that might be dealing with it. The truth will come. It always comes out, and it's going to smack you in the face if you've been avoiding it. No remorse. The truth will always show up. Alcohol isn't the enemy. Yes, it is the enemy, but it's not the enemy. The bottle is a mirror. All the chaos, mistakes, regret, you see them. Brutal, but real, Owning your shit without shame is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. Forgiving yourself, accepting your past, seeing why you made these choices, that's freedom, Not only that, but dude, there's some people who get drunk and become animals. I was one of them. Except I was an emotional drunk. I usually cried when I got super drunk. Very emotional. Some people get drunk and abusive. It's not good. It is not good. Only 7% of adults with alcohol use disorder get treatment in a given year, per the NIAAA 2023. I don't think sobriety is perfection. It's clarity for sure. You definitely wake up and feel everything that you've been numbing. Pain, guilt, fear, joy, hope, all at once. At first, it's overwhelming. If you've never really worked on mental clarity, it's overwhelming at first. It 100% is overwhelming at first. At least personally, with what I've realized. Then it becomes freedom. I create. I connect. I see myself a lot more clearly than I have for the first time in a while. Sobriety did not make me boring. It made me alive. I still have great energy, without the alcohol. I always have. Now I can DD for people, I don't care if other people drink. Do whatever you want to do, bro. It's your own life. Just don't drink and drive, I'll DD for you. People in recovery are 75% less likely to relapse if they have a strong support network. SAM HSA 2023. Sobriety improves mental health, emotional regulation, sleep, and relationships. NIH 2023. I don't know why everything is 2023. I honestly put this into chat and I was like, hey, can you pull me some facts? And everything is 2023. I don't know why. I think a lot of people chase numbness because it's easier than facing the crowd or facing themselves, Alcohol is a shortcut, but shortcuts don't solve anything. Running from pain creates more pain. Eventually, life will force you to deal with it. I think life forces you to deal with it. Eventually. Not right away, but eventually life asks you, all right, It's time to go. Like, what do you got? You know what I'm saying? Facing it is where growth starts, where a lot of life starts, I think. When you stop chasing the blur and stare at the chaos inside, you find yourself, your purpose, your peace. Personally, this is my opinion. To each is their own. I have some other facts here. Worldwide, alcohol causes 3 million deaths per year. World Health Organization 2023. Worldwide, alcohol causes 3 million deaths per year. World Health Organization 2023. Alcohol contributes to more than 5% of global diseases burden. World Health Organization 2023. I'm not too sure about that fact, but it's a fact that I pulled from the World Health Organization. So I don't know. I can think of a lot of nights that I drank to run away from my problems, especially dealing with the death of my dad, dealing with losing a job, dealing with, I mean, just broken friendships. It's easier just to drink and forget about it and then carry on and act like you're fine the next day until those feelings creep back in. Hey, go get a drink. Hey, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, countless nights. Countless nights. So, again, I don't think alcohol is the villain. It's a mirror. I use that term in a few other episodes that, you know, it shows you what you're avoiding. Once you face it, once you own it, once you forgive yourself, that's where change begins. That's where somewhat of a new life begins, you know? If you feel like you're drowning one drink at a time, you're not weak. You're human. You just have to stop hiding. Stop running, face it. And once you do, you can definitely start to feel alive again. Millions of people live sober, full lives every year. Recovery is possible. It's not easy. It's something that I've struggled with, and I know a lot of people struggle with, and I will be a support system for you. I will be a friend. I will help hold you accountable if this is something that you want to work on and improve. Again, DM me, text me if you have my number, email me. I want to see people become a better version of themselves and succeed. I don't wish failure upon anybody. It hurts my heart to see people upset with themselves and dealing with their own demons, but it is something that we all do and we all have. So I just want to see everybody grow and win. If this touched you, if you could please comment, like, subscribe, and share this with somebody who you think it might help, I would really appreciate it. I am trying to build a community of like-minded individuals and people who want to improve themselves and grow, because at the end of the day, that is all we really can do, you know? So I love you. Stay beautiful. Stay blessed. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.